CGI, it's hard. You know, when you're looking at a tennis ball, you don't get the same effect as if you were looking at a big, tall man.
CGI and visual effects seem to be an important part of filmmaking these days, with a little help from the actors on screen, of course. We love being transported into the world of a story through great VFX work, and we probably love watching what scenes look like without CGI equally as much. Stick around for a look at Enola Holmes scenes with and without CGI.
You get to have all sides of the spectrum all in one movie, and it's really exciting.
Number 1. Hold on to 'em. Enola Holmes features an intense sequence on a moving train, which had actors Millie Bobby Brown and Partridge performing a number of stunts, while walking the line between practical and digital effects. Shooting the train was tricky enough with the complicated VFX involved, but this take went down the drain because of a simple, old-fashioned fan blowing Millie's hat off.
Well, your best idea remains leaping off this train, doesn't it?
Number 2. The acting is key. The Enola Holmes team can make the train look like it's really speeding through the hills, but if the actors don't sell that they're really on it, the illusion falls apart. Here's how actor Partridge prepares in the moment to transport himself to the world of a speeding train in Enola Holmes.
Listen to music, that was my trick, and get your breath right. And then they say action and you go.
And then when you're looking at Millie and you're both giving the same sort of energy, that's when it flows right. Visual effects supervisor Michael Ellis said that it had to feel like they were really on the train, which is quite a hard thing to do. And when we think about it, we have to agree. The timing of the practical effects, like wind, or even just the gentle rocking of the train, can easily go wrong and spoil a take. When you add in all the other moving parts, shooting a sequence on a train is a bigger challenge than it might first appear. Michael Ellis added, "Of course, you can't really shoot on a real moving train. It's a bit dangerous and kind of heavy, and people fall over. We decided to shoot it in a studio with a green screen stage." Number 3. You gotta believe. With all the CGI involved, you might be surprised to hear that stunt performers were used at all in this sequence. Partridge explains that he was not able to do his own stunts when it came to jumping off the train. "I'm not the Tom Cruise that I thought I might be." They used a stuntman called James. He has all the bruises to take home. James, if you're out there, we're feeling for you right now. That roll down the hill looked rattling to say the least. Even jumping off of a fake moving train can be dangerous.
It just went crazy.
Number 4. Everything else seems to be CGI. Have a look at this scene in the various stages of development. As it gets more complex, it looks like part of the digital scene was made from scans of a real environment, while things like the train were built from computers alone. We had the digital landscape, we had the digital river, and we had our digital characters down the hill as well. That's a very digital movie.
They were like, what?
Number 5. Remember them? Using CGI and digital effects to create part of the world of a story is a powerful tool, but using too much of it can make things feel like they're a little off. So what do? Add real people back into the scene, of course. After the careful process of mapping out this scene and creating elements that would make it convincing as an actual place in the world, it was time to add the actors back in with an outdoor shot.
I really enjoyed the practical sets.
Number 6. Goofing around on sets seems to follow Millie Bobby Brown around. Green screen studios and visual effects are important for the experience of Enola Holmes, but so is the human elements, which sometimes means the performance and other times means keeping it real by goofing around on set. Watch how fast Millie can floss.
It's quite cool.
And with all that green screen around, just imagine the possibilities. Someone's gotta take advantage of that.
You know, I really wanted to see a lead, female British lead.
Number 7. Think you'll like the view? When we think green screen and visual effects, we often think big, immersive, complicated, expensive. But often, it's the little things that can make the biggest differences. Take this scene for example, where that famous green color can be seen only through the window of the room where Enola is practicing her posture with that book on her head. Or this scene, where the only green screen we're actually seeing is for the skyline or some store signs.
I knew this would have a truer use.
Number 8. Oh yes, there's more. When we think of cable stunts, we tend to think more about Spider-Man than Enola Holmes. But believe it or not, actor Louis Partridge is actually dangling from a cable while on a harness in this scene, just when he's on the brink of falling out of the train. Millie Bobby Brown actually got her hand caught in the cable when trying to perform the action of pulling him back through the door. If we look at this scene without CGI, when Louis is dangling from the open door, you might notice it was actually the camera that was on rails speeding along, and not the train.
I'm not ready to die on a train.
I'm not ready to die at all, and I was going to before I met you.
Number 9. Who knows at this point? The visual effects team on Enola Holmes knew they needed to have the door come off the train for the tunnel sequence. To make this happen, they needed to match the real door with a CG door. So, they started with the real door in studio, mapped the camera movements and the actor's action carefully, and then recreated the real-life door and matched it perfectly with the CG version of itself. Number 10. Do you believe? Visual effects and CGI can have us thinking of elaborate changes to a scene, but often it can alter just a few details that take us a little further into believing in the world of the story. In this scene, you can see just a hint of that signature green color, indicating that production was intending to change something there. Was it a sky reflecting the mood of the scene? Or maybe a store sign with a hidden clue or message on it? Number 11. Enola Holmes features plenty of shining moments where digital meets physical. Sometimes, the most entertaining visual effects are just physical performance. But just like creating an elaborate CGI sequence, physical effects take plenty of preparation. Often that can mean training and rehearsal.
I'm like really careful.
Yeah.
I'm very good.
Take this fight scene. Here's what it looks like in rehearsal with all the visual elements stripped away.
I train for roles. That's what I do. I love training for roles.
Number 12. Millie Bobby Brown got more than her hands dirty in this action sequence. Check out this behind-the-scenes footage where Enola Holmes, wearing her new dress, gets into a scuffle with the bowler hat in the muddy streets of London. In case you were wondering, that mud is real.
It's exhausting and hard and tiring, but I actually really enjoyed it.
Millie went so far as to tease someone on set with the possibility of a very muddy, wet hug. We wonder how many copies of this dress they wound up having on hand.
I'm very, very excited to be able to film it.
We love watching how great CGI work can transport an audience into the world of the story.
Enola is that for me, and it's been an amazing experience creating it.
And we definitely love watching the behind the scenes just as much. So what do you think? What are some of your favorite moments without CGI?